much of it here, but I know it goes on. But I've had to be aware, I've had to be informed, because the only way you're going to get a handle on what's going on this planet is to accept that there's actually, people on this planet that really are so self-serving, they really don't care what damage they do to other humans. Whether we like it or not, that's the reality. And certain researchers, as we know, have had these cases on their files, and it is actually, to me, totally remiss of being a researcher to deny what's in front of you. And maybe some of it's because they're afraid that they're going to be targeted, afraid that in some way some harms. And I get that too. But are we going to find the truth? Are we actually going to accept what we don't want to accept, and realize that sometimes things on this planet aren't very nice? It's not paranoia, it's just acceptance that that we have to be informed. And from being informed, then we can actually start to make a shift and a change within ourselves to actually change some of this.
Yeah, I've always felt that the vast majority of the dark stuff in ufology is us.
Yes.
It's not them, it's us.
Yeah.
And the powers that be that are, they seek power and wealth at any expense, and they have no respect whatsoever with human dignity, life, anything. It's amazing. It just blows me away. They consider themselves very clever, and very wise, but they're not wise because they haven't even figured out karma. They don't know there's a reaction to every action, and they're really cutting themselves off from any true wealth, which is love and joy and bliss, and being able to create abundance from our own being. All they know is how to, be a predator basically, or be a parasite. They don't contribute to anything else, and I know that is coming to a close because of the new energies coming in and the shift in the field, whatever you want to call it, the collective consciousness, and huge energy influxes that are coming in right now all the way up to 2012. That the game of tyranny and greed and selfishness is actually coming to a close, and it's fast-tracking right now.
Lots being uncovered. That's certainly the energy that I'm noticing as well as the fact that so many people seem to be seeking now more meaning in their lives. And the calls that I get compared to maybe 10 or 15 years ago were, maybe a couple of 2 or 3 a month. I'm getting 2 or 3 a week. That's without all the emails as well, with people just saying my life has changed, and it's almost like overnight something's happened that's got them on a completely different track to where they were in the materialistic world or whatever. So I'm seeing the evidence of it, just as you are, that there's this huge change and shift happening, which is absolutely wonderful. And many of those that are more awake know their roles already. What I'm trying to do with my second book, which I call The New Human, is about the broader way encounters happen for those that have, some of those, we call the walk-ins. One is quite an amazing story of a lady in her 60s who told me that she remembers coming on a cylindrical craft, and she said that she was one of these very tall beings. Everything was telepathic, and as she walked into this 3-year-old girl, she had to learn how to speak because she didn't know how to speak. And she said, and eat, because she didn't know how to eat. So these things were things, and she remembers her thoughts on what do I do with this, and how do I communicate? And actually, she was left with a spirit being that was there to sort of help her integrate, as it were. But for a long while, she really struggled just to be in a human form. And why, and why she was there. I mean, she knew she'd agreed to come. And she said to me, I'm one of the undercover agents, she said, and every now and again I meet one of my own. And she describes meeting one when she went to China, where there was this lady she met on a boat, and instantly they knew they were from the same place. And very little passed between them, just that recognition. This is what I want to start looking at too, is the many different ways we're having these interactions, that many of those within, the spiritual churches, they're fine until you mention the bald-headed guy with black eyes, or those, or the manta beings or whatever, as long as they're human and they look like spirit guides, they're fine. I've met many, with spiritualist churches here that say, I can't talk about this with my group. We're fine as long as it's a spirit guide or it's Uncle Joe. But, one of my guides isn't human. I can't talk about it because they don't want to hear it. So we've got those that should be, I think, more aware of the broad diversity of what we're interacting with through the realms and dimensions, but struggling or having their own limits into what they can accept and not accept in terms of what is spiritual. So we're also fighting, if you like, a prejudice, even with those that we consider should be a little bit more aware of this greater reality and the many forms, from energy beings, light beings, to whatever it is that are intelligences that are interacting with this planet.
Yeah, there's these boxes that people get into.
Yeah.
And, I just dealt with a group a little while ago, and I call it the Yogananda box, and
Yes.
Everything has to be Babaji or Yogananda, or it's nothing, and I told him, I said, well, on Babaji and Yogananda's prayers, these Pleiadians and Andromedans and these ultra-dimensional beings and have magnetized light bodies and are all coming to help right now. So why not get with the big picture and get out of that little box?
That's
and they
right.
said, oh, no, that's all illusion. He told us not to go there, and everything else. And I said, well, if you and then another guy said, you got to just be in the moment. There's nothing to all this alien and ET stuff, and everything else takes you out of the moment. And he goes, there's God, and that's all, And then the next minute he starts asking me questions about who are these ETs, and some of them are really hassling me, because I'm waking people up and healing people. And then I asked him, I said, well, you're in touch with God at the moment. Why are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, to be enlightened means to be in knowledge of all of it, the past, the present, the future, the other dimensions. I mean, there's so much wisdom out there, and it is all within. All knowledge is within. So when you make that connection, with your soul, which is connected to the source itself, you have access to all that knowledge. And rather than dismiss it and say it doesn't exist, why not embrace it, and but don't lose your own, personal connection with Creator, or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely, and this has been quite interesting for me with the discrimination, no matter how aware many people feel they are, that there is still that sort of limit within themselves to embracing all consciousness and all intelligence, no matter what form